Brace yourselves, people. This may be a good what if, but the ending isn't good for the protagonist here. Hey guys, MasakoX here. I know, some of you may not be that happy about another what if starting to this channel, but for this occasion, this is going to be a one-off, because the contents of this story would be nipped in the bud relatively quickly. And this all comes off the back of a comment that I got on a recent video from Big Doggo123. Love the name. They asked about whether this character would turn good, or if there is any chance, and whether Goku would bring them into the Dragon Team fold. Well, Big Doggo, I hate to say it, but I don't think the second half of your question would work out that way. But let's try and answer the question anyway. What if Goku Black turned good? Now, for those of you who might need a reminder about who we're talking about here, Goku Black is the summation of future Zamasu wishing to take over Goku's body and realize its potential, and then in turn become a fusion with himself, and therefore become the ultimate being, merged or fused Zamasu, depending on your own preferences in terms of the nomenclature. And also, quite frankly, Goku Black was the reason that Dragon Ball Super was kinda saved in my eye, because he was a very good character. Either way though, Zamasu for the longest time had to deal with a similar predicament to what Captain Ginyu had when he took over Goku's body. He had no clue how to drive the darn thing. It took a lot of trial and error from what we saw to be powerful enough to give Super Saiyan 2 Trunks a lot of bother during the early Future Trunks Goku Black arc. I can imagine that it probably took Goku Black and Future Zamasu a fair bit of time to decimate the populaces of the universes. The exponential growth in power only came about when Goku Black took on Goku, the original one, and realized through his own body's ability to quickly learn things, he can actually get really strong, and he realized what he could actually achieve and how strong he could become. However, there was something that I noted during one of the Goku Black episodes that captured my fascination for the longest time. It got me thinking ever since. Could Goku's body rebel in its own way? Zamasu's approach throughout all of this was to show that mortals were not worthy and were to be removed from existence. There is no hope. In an ironic twist though, he had to resort to a mortal body, a strong one mind, to get the rest of his plan into motion and become a true deity that he would be proud of. What if that plan had come with a bit of a price tag? And I'm not talking about the purple sludge thing where mixing mortals with immortals in a fusion like that went hideously awry. So where do we start? Well, we start after the first couple of tours from the present day crew, when Goku Black has discovered that he has the Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black British powers. This has been, for the first time since acquiring this body, the very first moment it has been subject to such tremendous countering. It exacerbated something that Zamasu's mind had been experiencing in bursts since he got this body. Passion. Passion for something other than the plan that his future self had been talking about. The passion to battle and the passion to train and get stronger. This flew under the radar for future Zamasu at the time, since he probably mistook this for wanting to pull off his own plan. In actuality though, it might have been the beginnings of Goku's body beginning to take back control in its own way. I'm not talking about wholesale though, because Goku's mind isn't there. This is the first time that this kind of thing has happened, ever. A Kai taking over a Saiyan body, so who knows what might happen. So, we then cut back to the log cabin, around the time when Beerus and Whis are closing in on the present Zamasu's plan. Goku Black and Zamasu are talking about Goku, the original one, and whether he might come back with his friends to the future and try again. In the original, Goku Black states that he is satisfied with the power he has achieved and goes Rose in order to emphasize this notion. He doesn't need any more power, he's happy where he is. However, here, things have changed. Inside his body, he can feel something, and he vocalizes it in a weird way. When told he might take out Goku too quickly, Black turns to Zamasu and says, "I don't plan to. I'm getting excited just thinking about fighting him again. There's something in my mind telling me to keep going. The thrill of someone potentially stronger than myself is very strong. I'm fired up." Future Zamasu is a little bit surprised at this reaction. After all, The person inside of this shell is himself, and he knows for sure that he wouldn't be all excited to fight someone like this. He would rather be excited to enact his own plans and endeavors. This is a little weird. Zamasu sips his tea and looks at Black quizzically. But you are still aware that we have business to attend to here, my friend. Goku Black turns back, almost snapping out of his frenzy. Oh, yes, the plan. Quite aware, yes. We will succeed. He then sips his tea as if nothing had happened. Future Zamasu does this too, but then frowns as if something bad had happened. Was this other self faltering? No matter for the moment. If all else fails, he will just put on his own Potara and force his other self to see sense as a fusion. Future Zamasu would be the dominant personality here, and thusly would assume full control. In the time between then and when the Dragon team return with Bulma in tow, Goku Black has had some time to think about what he's feeling right now and what his body's feeling, and he is very confused. Why is this body filling him with all of this nervous tension? What has he got to be nervous about? He and his future self are winning here. Victory is assured. Nobody can beat them as a team, and even if these guys try foolishly to resist, the merged part of the plan was flawless. He was dealing with absolutes. Zamasu deals in absolutes here. But the time he had spent as Goku Black was slowly changing his outlook on life, albeit very bizarrely. He could feel his body aging, for example, and changing, whereas the regular Zamasu, he felt static, and that change was unsettling. Is this what it feels like to grow old? Granted, Gowasu does look older than his people, he is much older, but this aging process with Kais is probably far more gradual and imperceptible to a Kai, who can live for at least tens of thousands of years. You don't really feel it like we do. Anyway, Goku, Vegeta, Trunks and Bulma return, and this is where we get Goku Black's fight against Vegeta occurring. This happens pretty much the same as before, but this time, Goku Black feels different emotions when he's fighting Vegeta. He's enjoying himself in a way like how his original occupier of this body had when he was casually sparring with the prince. You could almost call it pride. Was he feeling proud of Vegeta for being so strong against him? Ugh, how vile! This isn't a way that a deity's supposed to think! He must put this out of his mind at once, and that he does, and this leads to a turning point in this tale, when Goku finds out how Goku Black got his body. Up until now, Black hadn't really dwelled on that moment when he offed Chi-Chi and Goten, but when he recalls the same story and telling it to Goku to his face, he feels weird suddenly. He thought he would be mirthful at regaling Goku with how his family was ended, enjoying the pain that he would suffer, but he's not. A flash of Goku's residual memory suddenly causes Black to falter. Chi-Chi and Goten, as well as Gohan, Ox King, Krillin, all flash before his eyes. It's like his body's trying to tell him something. Black hesitates and looks somewhat morose. Future Zamasu turns around as if he's shocked at this utterance, but then Goku, understandably so, roars in anger and puts both of them back on the defensive, and instead of Black countering with a bigger energy blade, he's all over the place. Goku Black is very rattled here, and this leads to Future Trunks getting an advantage against him. Black tries to goad Trunks by saying, oh, he's to blame for all of this time travel nonsense, but this leads to Trunks getting the Super Saiyan Rage activated, and having Black even more on the back foot. This time, Goku is there to help as well, since he wasn't as affected as much by the energy blades, although he is somewhat injured with the initial chest impact. That's not a flesh wound. With 3 against 1, Goku Black is looking absolutely horrified at this sudden twist, and Future Zamasu is livid with his accomplice's feeble excuse of enacting the plan. What's going on? Zamasu has to step in and impales Goku again, causing people to rush into action, and thusly, the time machine is sent back into the past, with Goku and the others retreating, leaving Future Mai and Future Trunks here to escape. In the confusion, Future Zamasu and Goku Black regroup to the cabin, with Zamasu lambasting his colleague for his woeful performance. What were you doing? We could have finished them off, once and for all! But you hesitated. What is going on inside that head of yours? I don't know.
I felt something stop me from acting, like some kind of innate reaction.
Reaction? Don't tell me that your body is rejecting you.
Black looks to his hands and he's thinking, rejecting me? No, it can't be. I am the perfect being. There is nothing wrong with me, my friend. I am capable of this mission. The plan will go ahead from now on without any issue. I promise.
Zamasu isn't feeling all that convinced by this statement and proceeds to argue some more and saying that if his colleague isn't careful, then he could end up being destroyed, and then the plan would be a total failure. Goku Black can feel something boiling inside of himself, something unusual, something he wouldn't normally do. It's some kind of primal rage that might have been akin to what Goku must have felt earlier when being told of his family's decimation.
I can do this, you fool! I am Zamasu! I am you! We are beautifully perfect!
He is completely distracted and focused on having a blazing row with himself. Mistake. Future Mai readies her projectile and fires. The specialized energy pellet is a direct hit instead of a more glancing blow. Goku Black falls to the ground in pain as he was hit in the side of his head. He is screaming in pain as he had let his guard down in the argument. This is sort of like how Goku and Krillin were able to be hurt by the same thing themselves when not focusing properly. With Goku Black down, Zamasu has to be the only one to react. Future Trunks is here on the scene, and as the fight's going on, Black is writhing in pain, but then something comes over him. His body relaxes, and he gets up. This type of pain was very different to what he's experienced during regular fighting. This could have ended him. He might have passed. That feeling of mortality was scary. He didn't understand it. This twinge of fear has seriously affected him, and more of Goku's residual memories from his body cloud his mind, and he can feel the Saiyan body reacting to this injury. Future Trunks is able to escape by striking Zamasu with a super explosive wave many times, causing the Kai's regeneration to drastically slow down, waver, almost be imperfect. In this confusion, he, Mai, and the soldiers retreat back to the city and regroup with Goku and Vegeta, who they can sense have now returned. Zamasu's worries about his colleague failing have been briefly expunged from his mind, as he is himself in danger, but when he is able to regenerate fully, he tends to his ally. For now, their teamwork has been resolved, and it's time for them to face the endgame. With Goku and Vegeta returning to the future, they have their exchanges as usual with Trunks this time, being in a much better state than in the original. As Goasu is talking to Goku Black though, he immediately looks back to the moment he did the deed, and remembers every single detail. He then feels an emotion that he didn't back then. Regret. Goku Black closes his eyes and goes over the moment again and again and again. Unlike Goku's memories, which were only flashes and feelings, the memories of his own are 100% clear. I am sorry. Goasu stops for a second. What? What did you just say? Zamasu turns. Yes, what did you just say? Goku Black turns to Zamasu and says more firmly. I am sorry for what I did. Goasu smiles softly. Zamasu hadn't gone entirely, it seems. It didn't excuse all the actions he and this other copy of him had done, but the being they were dealing with here hadn't been erased altogether. There was hope. I thought you regretted nothing about what you did. That was part of the plan. Don't tell me that the plan means nothing to you. Why feel regret? There is no regret! Zamasu smacks Goku Black across the face and demands him to cease this prattle, or else he will induce the fusion. This shocks Goku Black, as he can see the Patara earring dangle in front of him. So, it was a choice. Either comply, or risk losing himself to himself. He has made his mind up. Forgive me, my friend. You are right. I will finish what we have started. And this annoys Vegeta, having thought that they had managed to disrupt things, and we then get Goku Black versus Vegeta for the second time. But, in the midst of this one, when the two are in close quarters grappling each other, seeing who's superior, Goku Black mutters something to Vegeta out of earshot from everyone else. End me. What? Hisses the prince. What are you talking about? End me.
End me and he will fail. You will win. I have realized what I have become. I have become mortal. I have done horrible things to this multiverse. Terrible things. I cannot fix these actions, but I can stop any more from occurring. That is why I ask you to end me. I disgust myself with how I've fallen from grace, but I cannot abide with what my colleague has done and what I have done. It is best for all concerned that I am destroyed. Do it. Now.
Vegeta is shocked, but then readies himself. Your choice. I will at least make it look convincing. Vegeta charges up and kicks Black into the air before readying a final flash. Goku Black is flailing in the sky, powering up, readying an attack himself. As the final flash key flies towards him, Black powers down. You fool! Shouts Zamasu. What are you doing? You can't take that blast in that form! You're not immortal! Goku Black turns to Zamasu and smiles before giving the bird to his former friend. And he is then consumed by the attack. When the light dissipates, he is gone. In his final act, he gave our heroes a chance to stop Zamasu. Zamasu can no longer sense his former partner. He is stunned, whereas Goasu sheds a tear and smiles. Thank you, Zamasu. You saw sense. You have done a brave thing this day. In the midst of this, Vegeta then turns to Zamasu, as does Trunks and Goku. Zamasu is left defenseless against 3 Super Saiyans. Remembering what happened earlier, Trunks has a plan. His plan is to constantly beat down Zamasu and cause him to regenerate, but not give him a chance to fully recover. With each attack, the regeneration could have a chance to fail or be corrupted because there's just so much going on, which is what happens. Zamasu's body is failing him, despite his immortality. This cannot be happening! I am immortal! Goku and Vegeta look to Zamasu and pity him. Yes, you are, but your body cannot keep up with the sheer power before you. You are done, you monster! With Zamasu left on the ground, writhing in agony, trying to frantically regenerate as best as he can, the 3 Saiyans prepare their final attack. A combined Kamehameha Gallic Gun combo. The joint attack hit Zamasu, and he is done. His body was in such a state that it couldn't regenerate fast enough, and as such, it broke down completely. What's left is nothing. Zamasu is gone. When the dust clears, there is nothing left. The 3 Saiyans power down and prepare for Zamasu to leap up before them, but he's not going to. Trunks' musings from earlier were correct. Immortality did mean regeneration and recovery, but if the body wasn't given the chance to properly reset itself, it might become overloaded with enough pummeling, and that is exactly what happened. From there, the resistance celebrate and Goku collapses to the ground with relief. Vegeta and Goasu walk over to each other, and the Supreme Kai asks the Saiyan a question. What did he say to you before that happened? Vegeta looks up to the Supreme Kai. He couldn't go on any longer. He repented. Enough said. He walks away, leaving Goasu confused. Once everything had been settled, our heroes head home in the time machine, leaving future Trunks and Mai to start rebuilding. They had won. And that's where we end. So what do you guys think? Did this one shot feel plausible to you? Do you feel differently towards the likes of Goku Black and what might have been? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later.